And some of these guys would turn their buddies in for a steak dinner, let alone millions of dollars.
The media has been caught lying. Welcome back to Moose on Loose. My name's David. Today, we've got two instances of the media caught lying or fear-mongering Canadians, trying to scare Canadians with the weather. We've got two extremes here, both hot and cold. We also have a heartbreaking story of a man perishing, waiting for emergency care at the hospital, among some other stories. Let's jump into this. In the news here, we got Mark Carney, who met with Vladimir Zelensky just a couple days ago, and we also have Donald Trump, who just met with him as well.
The attack on Kyiv shows just how important it is that we stand with Ukraine during this difficult time, and that we create the conditions for this just and lasting peace and a true reconstruction.
Yeah, I don't know if that's ever happening. So Putin, once again, in the midst of these talks, keeps attacking Ukraine. We also have Donald Trump saying that they're close to getting a deal.
Gotta make a deal. We get it done. Too many people dying. And I think both presidents want to make a deal. I'm going to brief you on the call.
Do you need food again, too?
Depends. I do believe that we have the makings of a deal. It's good for Ukraine, good for everybody.
Yeah, I don't know how much Putin wants to make a deal if he keeps attacking while they're having peace talks. Peace talks? They'll make a deal and Zelensky will keep $2.5 billion Carney just gave him. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. With all that said, we've got this footage that's been blowing up around social media. This is a ski hill in Ukraine.
It's the most wonderful.
Okay, so we can't have music in there as usual, but yeah, just a normal ski hill. This is in Ukraine. People in outrage because they're like, oh, people are skiing. There's an event going on there, a conflict, and people are out there skiing.
Gay happy meetings when friends come.
Not all of Ukraine is shut down. Western Ukraine is operating as normal. It's Eastern Ukraine that's getting hammered. There's a lot of arguing in here. People saying, yeah, not every citizen is fighting. I mean, it just is what it is. You've got, pow-pows and stuff. Eastern Ukraine, yeah, getting hammered day after day. I get it. When $2.5 billion goes over to Ukraine and you've got videos like this, it's not great optics. The whole thing needs to end. The whole conflict must end. No more money being sent over there. Clearly, it's not doing the job. And if it isn't wasteful government spending, sending it over to Ukraine, we've got stuff like this. 16 Haitians invaded have applied for asylum. This wasn't hard to predict. Now they will be put in luxury hotels, $84 a day for food that costs us $82,000 a year. Meanwhile, 80,000 people in Ontario are homeless, freezing, and starving. As we see here, $84 per day per claimant based on January 2024 rates. Average cost of room, $140 per night. Our tax dollars go to these asylum claimants. These guys commit crimes, then they claim asylum. Oh, it wasn't me. I didn't mean it. I'm a refugee from my country. They're coming after me. I didn't mean to commit the crimes in your country. Our system is so dumb. Put them on a plane, send them back. Moving ahead, we got this story coming from the government. It says want temperature limits. So Blacklock's reporter reporting on this one. Health Minister Marjorie Michel's department in a briefing note says the government will be establishing safe indoor temperature limits for people's homes. It says the department spokesperson last night said the document is not meant to be taken literally. It says what is government doing to protect people in Canada from health risks from extreme heat? Yeah, we don't live in the desert. I get it sometimes in the summertime, especially in Ontario, you get a couple weeks there where things get a little warm, but it goes on to mention the C word change. The government of Canada recognizes that extreme heat events are increasing in number, severity in Canada, and can pose significant risks to human health in terms of heat-related illness and even death. This is more fear-mongering what's going on here. They're scaring Canadians. They're going to come out with this limit of temperature where you don't want that limit to be exceeded, and they'll probably pick something pretty low so it gets exceeded very easily, and they can scare Canadians that, oh my God, the temperature's changing. Everything is dangerous in Canada, dangerous in divided world. It's a rupture. It says Health Canada is working to fill evidence and guidance gaps related to indoor heat, the leading cause of heat-related death in Canada. The note said that the health department was committed to protecting people from climate change. Oh, it's so scary. This is ridiculous, guys. Like, come on. This is what they're wasting their time and energy on. We're spending money on this. In other news, we've got CTV reporting freezing rain floods Gaza camps and leaves displaced Palestinians in dire conditions. Oh my gosh, the freezing rain in Gaza in the desert. Okay, this is a case of CTV News lying to the public, as numerous people have replied and posted 14 degrees in Gaza. There's no freezing rain. As this guy said, it took 10 seconds to search the weather in Gaza today. Do better. The article titled, Winter Rain Floods Gaza Camps as Netanyahu Heads for U.S. Meeting. He's abandoning the people of Gaza as the crazy winter rains are savagely taking over the lands. Winter rain lashed out the Gaza Strip over the weekend, flooding camps with ankle-deep puddles as Palestinians displaced. displaced by 2 years of conflict, attempted to stay dry in tents, frayed by months of use. It goes on to mention stuff like children wearing flip-flops waded through the puddles. This scary ice-laden puddles. So dangerous. This is unbelievable propaganda. That's what this is. This is all garbage. This is not true. This is made up garbage by somebody at CTV. It says here this was posted by the Associated Press. So they're pushing that through here, and they're like, yeah, go ahead, push this propaganda. If we look on the original post here on X, you can just see everyone fact-checking. 17 degrees in Gaza. 17 degrees. 16 degrees. You got it in Fahrenheit. 14 degrees. It's going to be 18, 17, 19, 18. Where's the freezing rain in Gaza? It doesn't seem to exist. And I looked it up myself right here. 18 degrees in Gaza right now. No freezing rain. Let's play devil's advocate here. We're looking at the high 17. Let's look at the low in the middle of the night. What's it? 13 degrees. It's not freezing rain. 12 degrees, 12 degrees, 13 degrees. Where's the freezing rain? It very rarely freezes in Gaza. It is incredibly rare for it to get below zero. They get some temperatures that'll get down into 5 degrees around there. But to actually get freezing rain, maybe once a year at most. And regardless, that's not the case. 13 degrees. CTV lied. They lied to Canadians. Unfortunately, many Canadians are getting news from these people and trusting what they're putting out. With that, we've got CTV. Notice this reporter here, Abigail Binman. This is the same Abigail Binman that is pictured here with Mark Gerritsen. I don't know if they're married or what. Digging into it, this is Mark Gerritsen's wife here, Vanessa. So I don't know what's going on in this photo, but this is who's delivering our news. Interesting how chummy they are with the Liberals.
The Public Health Agency of Canada says we won't get another full flu snapshot from across the country until January 9th. More than 2 weeks away. In
other news, we got this one breaking. The Irish government has announced their intention to ban anonymous social media accounts. They want all accounts to be ID verified, and they want to introduce an under 16 ban similar to Australia. They're cracking down, same thing. It's no wonder why the Irish are revolting too. The Australians are revolting. Everyone's revolting against this draconian takeover of leftist governments in Western countries. They want to find out who's daring to criticize them so they can arrest them. Yeah. Meanwhile, they'll allow gangs from South Africa to ravage citizens, do unbelievable things, and these people don't get charged. But then they're going to crack down for people who criticize the government. And we've got this one here from the Toronto Sun. Elon Musk slams Canadian healthcare after Edmonton father perishes in the ER. This happened, I believe, just a day before Christmas. I didn't want to put this out right on Christmas Day. It was just too sad of a story. Father went to the emergency room following an 8-hour wait to see a doctor. So it goes on to say here that the guy had chest pains while at work on Monday, the 22nd. He was taken to the hospital in Northeast Edmonton. His father told the hospital staff that the pain was a 15 out of 10. Reportedly, they did an electrocardiogram and told the family here that there was nothing of significance and to keep waiting. He was given Tylenol to help manage the pain. And eventually, he saw his father die in the hospital, apparent heart attack, while waiting in the emergency. After sitting for 10 seconds, he looked up at me. He got up and put his hand on his chest and just crashed. The video got 9 million views. I mean, this is embarrassing to Canada. I mean, people are dying in the emergency room because we don't have enough doctors. They brought in too many people from outside of Canada. Our system can't handle it. Moving ahead, nothing says Christmas cheer like Palestinian protesters outside a church. Do these people really need to be outside this Christmas market protesting? Seriously? In other news, we've got another church burned to the ground in Canada. The Island Gospel Church in Burns Lake, British Columbia, just days before Christmas has been burned to the ground. That's over 120 churches that have now been vandalized or burned down in Canada to silence of our politicians. Yep, arson suspected. Of course it is. It's arson season. It's always arson season. In other news, we've got extreme cold pushes the Yukon power grid to the brink. I wonder if some net zero renewables would fix this. This will get perpetually worse as Mark Carney keeps pushing these mandates. In places where minus 50, the solar panels covered in snow is not going to work. They're pushing heat pumps on us, which don't work in these temperatures. It's Canadians in remote areas like this that are going to get affected first by Mark Carney's net zero agenda. What will be the result of all these carbon taxes, net zero, carbon capture and storage and all of that? It'll be this. As Desiree Fixler pointing out, congrats, Germany, you've now beaten Britain. Your folks are paying the highest energy bills, all thanks to net zero. And that's what we see here, Germany on top now. They blew up all their nuclear reactors, and now they are lacking their conventional cheap energy. They're having to pay through the nose for all the sustainable stuff that isn't efficient, and look at the costs. Think of how expensive things are in Canada right now. We're down here. We're actually pretty low right now, considering this is about to spike for Canada with Mark Carney. While Mark Carney and Julie DeBrusen say that their carbon taxes, all their environmental taxes don't have effect on Canadians, we have real farmers here in Alberta who says it does.
We've got almost 400,000 birds here at the poultry operation, and you guys are having to pay the carbon tax every single day because you have no alternative to ensure that you keep those birds warm. But what has been the impact on your business, and not only on your business here, but on the food supply?
It's been tremendously hard because we haven't seen our final bills because the cold snap was within the last few weeks, but we will see them. But it's huge, and we're attacking our food supply. We as farmers we already work on a small margin, 3-4% at the most, and it's just volume. That's where the numbers come from. And we all need food. That's the most important thing. I mean, you go without a meal for a day and tell me what's important to you. I mean, if the cost of our shoes are more expensive or a new jacket, well, we can defer that for a few weeks. But when it comes to food, you can't. And we have to pass it to the consumer. And the consumer already is struggling to pay for it.
Well, thanks very much, John. I appreciate that. And that's a really important message to get out, is that this isn't just about you as a farmer, but the impact it's having on every single Canadian who is struggling to put food on the table.
And as it says here, right here in Okotoks, Alberta, the Keelstra farm pays over $180,000 in carbon taxes to produce food that families need. Wow. 180 grand. They could hire a couple more people. They could expand productions. This just goes to Mark Carney's grift. With that, we've got Table Salt here saying since being elected in April 2025, Carney has achieved zero GDP growth in Canada. We are totally stagnating. And as he's got it highlighted here, seasonally adjusted at annual rates, all industries, April of 2025, 2.3 million, and October, 2.3 million. Yes, stagnating is correct. But he spent a lot of money to do it. That is correct. He is wasting our money in the process. But chart here showing impact of low versus high skilled immigration on GDP per capita. This is from St. Louis Fed and National Academics model. And well, yeah, high skilled immigration increases GDP 0.7% per capita versus low skilled reduces it 0.3. That's what's happening right now. We used to bring in the best and brightest, these people, doctors and engineers, and now we're bringing in people who attack the doctors and engineers. People who burden our medical system. They don't add anything. They just take and take and take. Not to sound mean or whatever, but that's just the truth of it. That's the Coles notes. That's the numbers. The Liberals are bringing in people who are unvetted, who don't have skills, and they're broke. So they take money from Canadians and offer nothing in return but debt. The old system, people had to fight their way to get in here, and they had skills, and they would fight to be Canadian, and they would build a life here. And they were proud to be Canadian. It was a lot of work to become a Canadian. Once they got here, they made something of their life. Now, all of those people, all of the native-born Canadians like myself, are paying for all these low-skill, no-skill immigrants coming in who are just burdening the system. These are plane loads of people straight from South Asia who are trying to make their life better, get away from a bad situation. Unfortunately, we're funding it. That's not fair to Canadians. Here we've got 3 men accused of hunting women and Jews on Toronto streets as part of a H-word plot. The men are accused of alleged H-motivated extremism, and one of the men was also charged with an ISIS-linked terror lord offenses. Great. I'm glad the Liberals just allow this stuff to flow into Canada. Moving ahead, we got Sundurn with this one. Absolutely insane home invasion where 2 criminals executed a heist of over $200,000 by breaking in and avoiding detection, going prone across the floor. This is one of the most bizarre home invasions I've seen, and I've seen a lot of these.
This is one of the craziest home invasion videos I've ever seen. The family sent me this video. 2 criminals came in from the backyard. They broke the glass and the double glass sliding doors. They sit here in the kitchen. They go full prone across the house.
You can only laugh at this. This is so dumb. Look at this. What's this, Mission Impossible?
Are about to steal over $200,000 worth of gold, watches, jewelry, and carpets. Look at this.
This is so dumb. So what they do is they crawl past the sensors, they go downstairs, they shut off the power and the security system, and then they're able to steal all this gold and jewelry and stuff.
And by the time the homeowner called the police, it took them 25 minutes. Look at this. All the way prone. Look at this. Just sliding down the stairs. I have never seen anything like this. This is crazy.
This is crazy. Too bad there wasn't a hungry dog there to a little chow time on these guys. These guys need to be rounded up, thrown in a jail. They got to be working 10 hours a day, 10 years apiece. If they don't work, they don't eat. We need to have new rules in this country. Canadians crawl more like walrus from Nunavut. These folks crawl like snakes from the Serengeti. Those are terrible motion sensors. Yes, they are. Just leave your keys at the door. You'll be fine. Isn't that the advice the police gave? Yeah, it is. They said, go ahead, leave your keys by the door so they can steal your car. An inside job. Well, that's just it. They have to know that that stuff's there and where to go and shut off those. Like maybe these guys came in as some sort of contractor installing HVAC or whatever it may be, something, air conditioning, and then they knew where stuff is and they came back. Moving ahead, this is an interesting one. Ontario lawyer arrested in Ryan Wedding case granted bail. Remember Ryan Wedding here, as Melissa points out, unbelievable. Of course, in Canada, apparently you can be involved in an international street candy smuggling network and be granted bail. This is the Liberals' record right here, just served up on a platter. This is what it is. You want to be one of the worst people in society? Don't worry. We'll take care of you. Terror lord from the Middle East, come on over. We'll give you citizenship. You can terrorize all our citizens. And don't worry, the police won't do anything about it. And if the Canadians fight back, they'll be punished. Welcome to Canada.
A possible development in the hunt for a former Olympic snowboarder. Mexican authorities say they've raided multiple properties linked to alleged Canadian drug kingpin Ryan Wedding. CTV's Kamal Karmali joins us now. Kamal, how much closer does this bring authorities to an arrest?
Heather, this could be a big step forward in authorities closing in on and arresting former Olympic snowboarder turned fugitive Ryan Wedding. Mexican authorities seizing dozens of motorcycles, art, and ammunition. The raids carried out at 4 properties in and around Mexico City. Mexican police say the raids are related to a former Olympic athlete considered one of the 10 most wanted fugitives by U.S. authorities, not naming Ryan Wedding directly, but the former Olympic snowboarder has been at the center of a decade-long manhunt.
It appears to me that they're closing in on him.
Wanted for allegedly running a criminal enterprise that moves tons of illicit drugs to the U.S. and Canada. Earlier this year, he was accused of orchestrating the murder of a witness who was set to testify against him. His Toronto lawyer granted bail earlier this week after being arrested for allegedly counseling Wedding to carry out the murder.
He granted bail. After orchestrating taking out someone testifying against him, they let this guy out. This is how dumb our country is. And now they've put a bounty on this guy, $15 million US.
Yeah, ramping up the reward for Wedding to $15 million.
I mean, some of these guys who had turned their buddies in for a steak dinner, let alone millions of dollars. So I think we're starting to see that getting closer and closer.
But authorities say Wedding is under the protection of the powerful criminal organization, the Sinaloa cartel.
Perhaps they might have got a heads up that the authorities were going to conduct these raids,
creating some doubt on how much of a dent this most recent raid made on Wedding's enterprise.
It hurts him and it takes away some of his fortune, but it does not hurt his business as far as we know.
But what it could accomplish is bringing police much closer to arresting Wedding by finding out who those motorcycles are registered to.
Whose name are they under? And then, of course, you go to those people to find out if they know where he is, where he's hiding.
With former FBI agents saying it's likely Wedding is still in Mexico, but with a dwindling number of resources, his options for hiding out could be running out. Heather.
Kamal Karmal.
This is where we are in Canada now. Olympic snowboarder turned street candy kingpin hiding out in Mexico. So essentially his lawyer helped him with his criminal activities, is out on bail. Why? These guys should all be thrown in the slammer. Why would we let them out?